It's management of the breath in this case and ability to diffuse really high pressured singing, which is what's necessary to create this proper timbre. Way to go making it weird. Will this make it to YouTube? Probably. Hey, real quick, I just want to welcome you to the Big Brain Singer channel, where singers and music lovers come together. I'm Charlie, and my goal is to share my knowledge of singing and love of music with as many people as possible. If you want to be the first to experience reactions just like this one, please join us on Twitch, links down below, Monday, Wednesday at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time. And if you yourself are an aspiring singer and want a mini voice lesson from me, I hold a free and open vocal clinic every Friday at 11:30 a.m. Eastern as well. So make sure to join our community Discord server. Links are also down below. To join hundreds of music lovers like yourself and to stay updated on community events. I hope to see you there, and I hope you enjoy this reaction and analysis. This is The Great Gig in the Sky, Pink Floyd cover. By... Yeah. See it. I love the original. I'm a big Pink Floyd person. Who's not? It's just another. It's like a... So I'll go back, but like this song, this whole album is just like a big hug made of music. Realize I will listen to it eventually. I really want to.
And I am not frightened of dying. Any time will do. I don't mind. Why should I be frightened of dying? There's no reason for it. I've got to go sometime.
Do you guys think the tongue ring helps with their singing? Yeah, Sayu, we'll handle that eventually. Tao, if you want to snip those out, feel free, but we'll approach them as we do. Unless you'll know. No, you don't think so. Yeah, I couldn't see it helping, but she's absolutely crushing it. Badisol, you get a timeout for... How long? How's the minimum amount of time I can time you out for? Just kidding. No, but for real though, like all talk aside, this is, look at her mouth and like how she's manipulating in order to get those really high tones. It's one thing I love about high soprano voices is that the ability to reach those high notes and facilitate that type of really smooth registration shift is all incredibly dependent on positioning of the mouth. You know, that's singing in general, right? But when you get to those like really specific high notes that require that kind of contortionism of the vocal tract, it's so clear when it's done well. And this is a great example because you see her face right up close, which we don't get to see often with like many live performances. I assume this was done recently in the sense that they're all, you know, not in the same room. They're doing it from home, pandemic vibes. But Yeah, really lovely singing. And this is probably like the best singing on the whole album, just from a technical standpoint. So great portion to cover. So that was a really awesome way to sustain those high notes. Notice how all of her inhales are absolutely silent, and that's not a result of mastering. That is how she's able to sustain enough relaxation to keep that high pressured sound in that high range. You hear that growl coming up, and it's all because everything is very depressed here. Everything is very lowered and relaxed, and it's being depressed, not relaxed. So it's being depressed, and she is able to sustain that pressure by keeping those inhales silent and relaxed. Nice. Kaleidoscope me too, don't worry. So interesting, Cosmic, because I'm thinking about that as well. Like, is the tongue piercing affecting your singing? And it shouldn't. If you have control over, if you're able to separate the function of muscles in the vocal tract related to the function of singing, that shouldn't affect how you sing. Like, I do this thing sometimes that I shouldn't when I'm at some like weekend gigs, and I'll just sing with a cough drop in my mouth, right? And as long as the stimulus of that item in the mouth doesn't affect the actual function of the muscles, because sometimes, like, if you have a piece of food in your mouth and you're trying to talk, your voice is going to get like a little scrunched up because your body's going to try to avoid swallowing it. But if she's someone who's used to having that item in her mouth all the time, it's probably not going to get in the way of her singing, because she's used to, her body doesn't react to it as like a foreign object anymore. It's just kind of there, so her body's not trying to not swallow the item, and therefore it's not getting tightened up, if that makes sense. You know what, that would be interesting, because there is that idea of the voice shattering glass, that like stereotypical thing, and the voice can obviously resonate. If she could figure out how to vibrate like the inherent frequency of the metal, and you access that with her voice, I guess technically it's possible, as long as the voice can vibrate at a resonance that will sympathetically vibrate with the metal. Her tongue, her tongue can still be flat, so it's able to relax the larynx, right? The only thing is, it does look like it's kind of sticking up really high, but that shouldn't really affect singing, because singing requires your mouth to be open more often than not, at least the singing that she's doing. But yeah, interesting. It doesn't seem to be getting in the way of anything. I mean, you can even see it in this like poorly lit video, but you can just see how relaxed and forward her tongue is. Maybe it's possible that having that tongue piercing has allowed her to desensitize her tongue to like external tensions purely by having to manage the little, the piercing. That's speculation though. Who knows? But you're right, Market Anarchy, and that's the thing I said in my first ever YouTube reaction video. The fact that she has a huge mouth gives her a lot of latitude, and maybe someone with a smaller mouth might have an issue. Yeah, she has a huge mouth, dude. And as I always talk about, the vocal tract is the cavity that the sound resonates around in and makes things vibrate and sends more sound out. It changes the sound on its way out, right? Having a huge master creator, you nailed it, dude. What a meme. Not me. But yeah, I mean, having a huge mouth really helps with singing. Being able to create a sound like this, being able to make it easily and not force it through thrust of air, rather create a beautiful sound through resonance of the cavity. And a bigger cavity is going to give the sound more time to move around and get colored by your natural anatomy. So maybe someone with a smaller mouth would have trouble with a tongue piercing when singing. Interesting idea. I don't like that we're focusing a little too much on the tongue piercing. She's a fantastic singer, regardless of a tongue piercing. And yeah, it's all about her management of the breath. It's management of the breath in this case and ability to diffuse really high pressured singing, which is what's necessary to create this proper timbre. Way to go making it weird. Will this make it to YouTube? Probably. Colossus. The way she's doing it is because, and the reason yours cracks is because her larynx is staying down as the voice is going up. If you try to sing high, if you try to transition from like chest voice to a high note by just making the sound, by letting the larynx move up, you are going to crack. You're going to have a tough time transitioning. If you let the larynx sink as you go up, which is what I'm talking about when I'm saying like diffusing the pressure, because the pressure is going to naturally push the larynx up, the air pressure, right? She can relax the muscles here to allow the larynx to drop as her pitch is going up. So it's the difference between like and keeping the larynx down as you go up is going to allow you to sustain that pressure. Now, the difficulty is using the right muscles to keep the larynx down instead of just pushing it. You want it to relax more. But the more pressure you use, the more you have to figure out how to use the muscles to depress the larynx instead of letting it relax. But that's why you might crack when trying to shift registers like that instead of being able to sustain that like belty nice sound. And there are other techniques to diffuse pressure as well. We've talked about nasality. We've talked about, letting things like your teeth resonate better. But the basis is doing things that allow your larynx to stay low while the pitch increases, where our natural tendency is to let the voice go up. Anyway. See, teeth, lots of teeth. You called it. The other thing she does incredibly well is just relax the jaw as she's going up, because the jaw has all of these muscles connected to the larynx. If you can relax the jaw, it gives the larynx free rein to drop down. It's just another thing that's not going to hold the larynx up. There's like, for every one muscle that pulls the larynx down. There's like 10 muscles pulling the larynx up. So the most efficient way of learning how to relax the larynx is through relaxation, not through muscular depression, right? That was really lovely, Market Anarchy. That was really, really, really lovely. It's hard to differentiate. You know what? Some covers are great because it's hard to differentiate from the original. And like that was a really fantastic, if you close your eyes, it would be hard to like differentiate the difference other than like some of the instrumentation and stuff. Really fantastic. At least like as the singer, she really nailed that cover. Absolutely. Wow, you're still here. If you did enjoy the video, I want to invite you to check out my Patreon page where I offer multiple tiers of perks for both aspiring singers as well as music lovers who want to take their listening skills to the next level. Also, I do need to say it, like 90% of the people who watch my videos aren't subscribed to the channel. It really doesn't take much. Can you please just press the little button down there? If you made it this far, you probably fit in right with the rest of the people who are the big brain community. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.